welcome to another video of Double Nibble Computers. This is my latest acquisition, and I'm quite happy with this one. It's a Heath H-100, which is the same as the Zenith Z-100. For those who don't know, Heath kits were a line of electronics and computers where you had to put it together yourself. So you had to solder it, do all that other kind of stuff. Zenith took over the Heath Kit company and offered the similar items fully assembled. So the Zenith model would be fully assembled. The Heath Kit, you have to put it together yourself. So this one here, sorry, the faceplate kind of came off when I was carrying it. Like I said, I literally just got this one, and I'm really excited. So why am I excited over this? Well, it's early 80s, and it just screams early 80s. I just love that look. Look at that. If that doesn't scream retro, I don't know what does. This one here is a dual CPU system. It's got the 8085 for CPM modes, and it's got an 8088. Well, for CPM if you have the 8088 CPM software, and obviously for certain versions of DOS. The really interesting thing here, it's not an ISA-based system, it's the S-100 card system, which is the older expansion slots. So let's crack this thing open. I haven't been in here yet, just apart from the faceplate. So let's see what's inside, see what surprises there are, and we'll take it from there. Actually, before we open it, what I should mention with this one, so the story with this one, I just bought it from a gentleman who collects Heath Kit stuff, and he's getting rid of a lot of the things that he no longer really uses, and this is one of them. This he got from a professor in MIT. He bought this along with a collection of the Heath Kit robots, the hero robots as they're known. So this was one of the items that came with the bundle. And as I mentioned, it is a Heath Kit, so you got to put it together yourself, and it's from a MIT professor. So there should be hopefully some interesting things in here. So again, let's crack it open and see what happens. Okay, so off camera I figured out how to open it, and I haven't opened it yet, but I figured it out. There's these two tabs in the back, and a little bit of fighting because it is old. There we go. So before we take a look inside, look at that. Pull tabs. How interesting is that? Click, click, and it's open. It's like those Turbo XT cases where you just flip it open. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, so obviously we got the power supply. This is the S100 cage. So there's 5 sockets in here for the S100. And give me 1 second here. Take this out of its hold. So that's what they look like. So the first one I was expecting it to be in there, that's the floppy controller. This is an interesting surprise. So let's get this camera back up in the mount here. Give me 1 second. There we go. And I have no idea what this is. And there's no clues on it apart from the fact that it says S100, which is, again, the IEEE standard there of expansion. I'll have to see what some of these chips do. We can maybe figure it out. Maybe on the back. It says oak. Huh. Weird, it doesn't say anything. It just says oak in, oops, sorry. It says oak in certain places. So I'm assuming that's the company that made the PCB, not so much the actual manufacturer here. Okay. Well, let's put you back in before I lose it or break it or something. Just don't really know what that does, but we'll figure it out. And then not sure which company this is. It looks like the Heath brand, because I was doing some research before I picked this thing up. Because it has the 34 for the 5 1/4 and the 50 pin for the 8-inch drives. Oh, here we go. Okay. So it does say Heath on it. And then as I mentioned, because it is the Heath Kit, kit being the key word, you can see all the solder joints, all the little flux still on it. Oh, that's just awesome. And then hard to see over here. There we go. So there's a date stamp of September the 9th, 1983. So if I can get 42 years later, roughly, I'm actually holding what some MIT professor is actually working on. Look at that. That's just cool. Okay, let's put you back in. That was in the second slot for some reason. I'll figure out why later. There we go. Okay. So the big question is, what exactly do I have? Again, I did some research before I picked this thing up. There's, depending on where you read, 2 or 3 different variations of the main board. So the earlier ones were 5 megahertz, and the very last generation of these boards were 8 megahertz and had more RAM on board. So I'm hoping that might be the one I have. I'm not too sure yet. I'm going to have to figure out how to open this thing. Hard to see here. I'll take my word for it. There's 2 screws on each side here, and the drive assembly should pop out. So let me take a look at that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I figured it out, just by looking at it, basically. So you got the 2 screws on each side, along with the case prong, if you want to call it that, the securing device. So when you put that the snap system of the case, it locks on there to secure it. Here's a better view. So I'm going to have to take pliers, I guess. Loosen that up, take that out along with the screws. So I got my screwdriver ready, and I'm going to put you on hold while I do this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so moment of truth. I got it wiggling and I haven't lifted it, so it's going to be a lot of power cables. But okay, let's see what we can do here. Now, I forgot to mention earlier, for anyone who who owns one of the Texas Instruments PEB, that's the expansion box for the TI-99 and the 99-4A. That thing is heavy. Really, really heavy. This computer is the matching set for that. This thing is heavy. Oop. Okay. Forgot the plug is downwards on these ones. Okay. Leave you up there. Oh, there's a daughter card. That's interesting. I love surprises. Okay, so the key thing here is I want to try to find underneath this, that's the video card, not much I know. So underneath the video card, there's a model number of the board, and then I can figure out which board this is. Okay. Well, let's put you back on hold, and I'm going to try to figure out how to take this thing off. Looks like it's just 2 screws here. Maybe blow it down a bit. Alright, be right back. Okay, before I take anything apart here, this one just stuck out of me. Sorry, I'm trying to get in the light here. So that's the 8080 processor. And over here, look, 8087. So that's quite the surprise. So this is a daughter card that goes on top of the 8080 processor socket. This motherboard never had any kind of sockets or any kind of expansion for the 8087. So this is a third-party adapter, daughter card, whatever you want to call it, for the 8087. So that's interesting. So like I said, that professor obviously did some high-end calculations and needed the 8087. So that's, again, that's a cool surprise. Anyways, be right back. Okay, so it looks like I gotta take the upper shell off. There are 2 screws here, and I put them, I keep everything in little bags. There are 2 more of these securing devices. Okay. So similar to my Tandies, the paint's flaking off, and the foam on the side. This was on the side of the keyboard. Whoa, yeah, really bad. That's on the side of the keyboard, just holding it down. So, yeah, kind of nasty. Maybe I should blow this down some more. So I've never shown this before, and it looks like a kettle. This is my air gun. So it's a plug-in 120 volt. It's got a little light in the front. It's kind of loud, so pardon the noise, but I'm going to give this a quick little blow down here. Okay. Some more debris over here. So I took these two screws off already, and oh, this one right here. So one of the things we're trying to look for is which video card is this? Is it color enabled, or is it just a black and white? It'd be really nice if it was color. Nope, just the green. So from what I was told by doing some quick research, and I could be wrong, these are the memory banks. You notice it says red, green, blue, so you got the RGB. And if this was color, all three columns would be, all three columns would be populated. Now then, okay, this is what I've been looking for right here. I'm 99% sure, I gotta cover that. EEPROMs. Anyone knows an EEPROM, it's they're UV sensitive. I don't know how much light my fluorescents are giving off here, or their LED, but I better cover that. Don't want to lose any information on them. What was I saying? That I'm pretty sure is the newer model. So let me put you on hold again. I'm going to do some research online just to verify that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got that wrong. Let me put the keyboard back out here. And where is it? Right there. There you go. So the model number of the board is the 2653-1. So according to the internet, this is the earlier model. It'll do 5 megahertz, which makes sense because I double checked the chip number, the 8087, and that is the 5 megahertz chip. And maximum RAM on the board on this one was 192. Whereas the newer model, which is the 2806, can handle 768 on board with 8 megahertz clock signal. So I was kind of hoping it would be the newer one, but hey, can't complain. Yeah, checking the chips here. Yeah, these are all 64 chips. Okay. Still, it's not too bad. So there's the 8085. And then, like I said, that's the data card for the 8087. So 8087 up here, 8088 over here. The gals that control everything. So yeah. But that's kind of a neat little thing there. And yeah, not too worried between the 5 and 8 megahertz, but 768K would have been nice. Okay. I'm going to put you on hold again here. I'm going to just clean up some more of this debris, and I'll be right back. Okay, so give it another air blast there. And, surprisingly, there's not a lot of chip creak on this thing. That I find interesting. Usually these things kind of pop up and down, and as you're pushing them back in, you can hear them kind of creaking a little. And these are not doing that. Interesting. Okay, I keep forgetting. I gotta cover that up. Where's my tapes? What if electric tape for now will be fine. But yeah. So I think it's pretty clean enough. I got to check the power supply, but the main board I'm actually quite happy with. That we can actually fire it up, I think, or at least try to fire it up. So bear with me a second here. Let's cover up that EEPROM before we lose the contents. And again, as I said before, I'm functional, not pretty. So let me just double check one or two more things. I'm going to check the power supply, and I'll do a fire test. Stand by. Okay, so I'm relatively confident that nothing really should blow up unless this thing has a reefer. And a quick look on the internet, I didn't see any that look like a reefer. Those are those capacitors that blow up and make a lot of noise and a lot of stink, although it doesn't take anything out with it, luckily. So yeah, so I'm not going to use the monitor that came with it. I do have the Amber monitor, the Zenith monitor that this thing came with. It's just still in my van, and I didn't want to play with it just yet. So we're going to try this momentarily. I forgot to check these chips. Hey, let's try this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Okay, well, we saw that. Smoky. Okay, so we lost the floppy controller. Nothing better than the smell of burned rectifier, though. Okay, so I lost the diode and possibly whatever voltage regulator that is on there. 7812. So, okay, well, good to know. Yeah, so at this point I'm going to unplug everything and take a look to see what happened. Wait, be right back. So for those who are new to the hobby, never get upset that something this old blows up. I mean, we're talking 42 years here. So there is obviously something gone a little funky. And you can see this thing is now broken half. Now it could be we had an overvoltage and this thing can handle it. Could be this thing just didn't want to work anymore because, well, it's old. It could be a combination of anything. Could be a short on the board. Not sure. So we're going to forget about that. I've disconnected the board off from the main board here. And we're going to turn on my brand new oscilloscope here with the multifunctions on it. Put that, there, we can see it there. Multimeter. Okay, well, let's turn this back on. Hopefully the power supply doesn't fry. 1, 2, 3. I don't even hear the fan running. Yeah, that could be the problem. Alright, this one should be obviously 5 and 12. So let's take a look here. 5 there. And there's the problem. Only getting 3 volts on the 12 line. That could be a problem. Unless it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure that's the 12. Okay, well, we'll need to find out. This one up here, luckily these are all labeled, so now these are 5 volts. So I can tap it here and see what this is getting 5 volts up there. And the other ones, that's going to be a little of a problem to repower. Normally these things are automatically, let's say, not automatically, but using a standard 5 volts, 12 volt system. Let's turn this off for a minute. So this one is giving the 5 volts, but this one here, very similar to, again, the Texas Instruments PEB, depending who you're talking to, uses a very odd voltage. And the reason why they're doing that is you got 16 volts, looks like 8 volts, minus 16. And the reason why they're doing that is because each of these cards, all right, have their own regulators on them. So you got to feed them higher. So you got the 8 volts, which will then be rectified to 5 volts. All right. This is 12, so that would be the 16 volts. You know, whew, this thing still smells. I like it. It's a very, I don't know, one of those warm but friendly smells that you remember from when you were younger. It's comforting somehow. It's a strange thing. Anyways, yeah, so I think the floppy controller is going to be okay. I think I just want to replace that there, and it's, I'll have to figure out what value that is. Well, somebody online will know. Looks like C26. Well, I'll try to get down some of the carbon off it and take a look at it. Assuming it's the same one, they look like 1 microfarad. Oh, it's a capacitor. Okay, I thought it was a diode. Oh, that's just a capacitor, so that's even better. Okay. So, back to pause. I'm going to check 1 or 2 things out here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to get brave here. I know the 5 volt is good, so that's going to feed 5 volts into the main board. If there's any chips on there that are looking for 12, I don't think they'll be fried. They just won't turn on. I don't know. I'd have to look at these regulators on this thing. I'm totally rambling now. Okay, let's turn this thing on. Hey, okay, so the fan does work. And again, I keep mentioning the Texas Instruments PEB. For those that have one, you'll recognize that sound. Not quite as loud, but it's pretty loud for a computer. Okay, anyways. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. So my 5 is still 5. Oh, good. I'm getting 12 now. Okay. And I'll just leave that there. Ground is ground. Okay. So I should have 16 over here. Hey, look at that. 16, that's ground. These white ones are 8. 8 volts. 8 volt. Take it off. 8 volts. And the last one over here is supposed to be minus 16. I can live with that. Minus 17, that's pretty close. Okay, so theoretically, this thing actually might fire up. That thing was just literally just a bad capacitor. So we might be okay here. Okay, let's turn this thing off. I'm gonna put this over here. Not a lot of room. Of course, I guess they meant for the power supply to come out, but hey. Okay, make sure I got the pins right, because, yeah, I don't want to blow it up if I don't. Okay, my TV's still on, I got my cable still in there. I don't screw anything up here. Okay. Just for fun. I'm not looking for resistance. It's on full automatic mode here. Okay. Nothing happening. Now there is a chance, I mean, this could be a very dedicated signal, video signal. I'm not familiar with these machines at all here. I mean, that or this thing, my monitor just does not like it. Okay, I'm going to put you back on hold. I'm going to either try a different adapter or haul down the monitor. Or maybe wait till tomorrow. It's getting late and I should be sleeping already. Okay, either way, from your perspective, back in a minute. Okay, so we're at the point now where I'm going to take it out of its case, check the bottom. Again, this is supposed to be the Heath kit, so maybe there's some cold solder joints, maybe a screw or something went underneath it. Anything is possible. I'll give it a little bit of a clean. I mean, it's pretty good, but you can kind of see if I rub my finger, there's like, you know, your typical light buildup of dirt. I mean, it is 42 years old, so. And, yeah, that's about it. I did find, I'll have to look it up. I don't know where this goes. There are some of these small ROMs here. There we go. Hopefully that's focusing. There we go. You know, the 444, 101, there's 104. So I found the 102 tag. Let's focus there. Anyways, so I found that on the bottom, along with a date sticker here of November the 2nd, 1983. So now we have an official date of this thing. And, yeah. I don't see anything obvious on here, so I'm hoping the problem's on the bottom. Okay, stand by and let's take a look. Okay, so here we have the bottom of the board. There's some bodge wires here, and I don't know whether that was, you know, as per factory or what these are. I'll have to find out. That's kind of interesting. Here we go, focused. So I haven't found any cold solder joints yet. The board actually looks quite nice, but this little guy over here, look at that. That's a capacitor. So I'm assuming the capacitors here were replaced at some point. And let me see how close I can get. I've taken a close-up with my macro lens on this thing. Let's see here if I can get a nice close-up. No, I don't think so. Anyways, you can see it looks bridged. Now, I haven't actually tried it on the multimeter yet. But, to me, that looks shorted. So, let's see what else we can see here. And just apart from the bodge wires. All the way up and over. This one discolored a little bit. Maybe it's just the lighting. And then the majority of them are down here. So something to look at after, but right now I'm going to take a look at this little guy over here. Where'd it go? The capacitor bridge. And like I said, everything else seems okay. There's a blob here. I mean, that might be intentional. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure how well that's going to show up. I'll take a close-up picture, but you can see these have all been kind of grinded down. And it's kind of something they do when they machine these things. They just snip off and grind off the legs as they go through the machine. So this guy might be actually machined. Interesting. Okay, anyways, let me get my meter going and let's check this guy out. Be right back. Okay, so this is where we're trying to look at right now. And I got my new oscilloscope multimeter all-in-one happy device running on beat mode. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's see if this is the problem. No. Oh. No, that's because I'm touching it. Okay, let's see if I can pry it up here. I know I shouldn't be using probes, but there we go. Okay, I'll snip that down later. Let's double check you while we're here. No, so that one's not short. Okay, I'm going to zoom out here and flip it around and let's start looking at capacitors. Sometimes they do short out on these things. Okay, so I flipped it around quickly just to get a brief idea of where my capacitors are. So there's one hiding here. And that's giving me nothing. There's another one, I'll zoom into this one here. Doesn't want to focus. There we go, okay. Where to go here? There's one over here. Oops. Yep, and there's one over here. Oh! I'm not getting it. Interesting. Okay. Hang on a sec. If I don't do that, I'll lose it. So we got a dead cap. Cool. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause again so I can flip this around and I'll be right back. I think this was, sorry, I think this was the first one I checked here. Okay, nothing there. Oh, I'm still recording. I mean, I don't know if I'm recording now. I'll have to edit this one. Okay, so there's one right here. No way. Two of them. Okay, and then over here, where'd they go now? That one. So, let me zoom in. there's two little guys over here. The first one is hiding right here, and that's the other one. Okay, so that's interesting. I got two of them. One there, and one over there. I know you can't see it. Sorry, I should have zoomed out. Sorry. So there's the one here, and the one on the bottom, which was on the top when I found it. Okay. Well, it's time to do some desoldering and resoldering, and hopefully we got something. Okay, so I got my soldering iron all hot and ready to go. Got a solder sucker, some solder, my solder cleaner. Let's try this. So normally, as suggested by a lot of people, you want to try to get some solder flowing on this thing just to get it all nice and hot and everything. Come on. Come on. Oh, you're being a fun one, aren't you? Got my iron set for, what is it at now? 411. That should be more than enough. Maybe not. Maybe because it's been here for a while. Okay, hang on. Let's take up to 425. This is one of those quick heating ones, so here we go. Okay. Let's take a look here. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. Maybe not. Okay, we'll try that one again in a second. So, not quite. Okay, I'm not getting very far with this. I'm going to put you on hold and try to do this off camera. Be right back. I made a decision with the H-100. I'm going to put it away for a while because it's still not working. And even after I've replaced the caps, like I said it was going to, it didn't work. I did some more diagnostics and it's doing the same thing. Replaced the primary CPU, which is the 8085, still the same thing. Replaced the 8088, still the same thing. Took all the like the 74 series standard ICs, the TTL ones, one by one out, and used there's the TL866 EEPROM programmer has a IC test function in it. So I ran it through those, found one chip that was bad, swapped it with one from the video card, just to see what would happen. Still the same problem. There's maybe 3 or 4 chips that wasn't in the TL866 test inventory, or test library, I should say. So I'll try those and see what they do and look at the schematics and find if they're actually associated with anything.
My gut feeling is this thing is stuck in the reset, so it's not releasing the CPU controls. Just a hunch, because I've seen that before. But again, right now I'm going to put it away. The main reason with that, and you'll find out in the following video once I get it all pushed together, because it's going to be a big one. I've recently come across a huge lot of Tandy/TRS-80 Model 100s and 102s, along with, and this is the cool part, it came with a DVI, that's the disc video interface, so you can actually plug this now into a full-sized monitor, TV, whatever the case is, and it comes with 2 disk drives. And speaking of 2 disk drives, it came with 2 disk drives. There's the small little 3.5-inch, the portable ones. So it came with the portable Model 1 and a portable Model 2. Now, both of them, we know for sure the belts are turning to mush by now. So that'll be one of the episodes where I take them apart and put new belts in them once I get the belts. But yeah, there's a lot of testing and archiving and seeing which ones are which, and that's taking up some of my time as well. And there's other videos I want to do as well. So for now, I'm going to put the H-100 away. I will come back to it once I do some more research and once I get some more space and time. So stand by or keep an eye out. It'll be a while, but there will be a part 2 to this one. Till then.